And welcome back to part 27 of Neptunia Reverse, and will also be the finale of the normal playthrough. Yeah, we are at that point already. I eventually decided not to show more optional stuff just because of how much grinding would be needed to happen to get to show off those parts. So maybe in an extra video, but I'm not sure how I'm going to handle the extra videos yet. I know how I'm going to handle at least one of them, but that we'll see when we get there. But first, we've got a cutscene here because we're going to push through the rest of the main story today, which is why this video is a bit longer. I'm not sure about the bonding part. I guess a simple argument can become quite large when CPUs are involved. For being goddesses, that was quite childish, New. Ahem. Now, about the whereabouts of Arfoire, we can't seem to trace her. Are you sure you looked good? All the people in all the land searched. I believe we did our due diligence. How unfortunate, and just when I wanted to go on the offensive. Ha 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 ha! What? That dry, aged laughter has got to be. It's Miss Arfoire. Denizens of the world, can you hear me? Huh? Where's Arfoire? I believe her voice is being transmitted from Celestia. Celestia? I will use my power of God to rid the world beneath. For being pushed into a corner, she's sounding mighty haughty. Beware, who knows what means the pressure will resort to. What's going on? What just happened? This can't be. How horrible! Stop mumbling to yourself and explain what's going on. Arfoire is planning to make the four lands collide into each other. What? Is that even possible? With Arfoire's power now, it's certainly possible. Planetoon's gonna be destroyed? Planetoon, Louis, Last Station, Luma, they're all in danger! This isn't good. We've got to do something about it. Well, we better head to Celestia and beat Arfoire up for good then. That seems to be the only approach. Let us go to Celestia right away. But how do we get to Celestia? Come to think of it, I don't think we've been there before. There is a gate the CPUs use at the Basilicom. Let's head to one now. Sup, buddy? Been a while, hasn't it? Oh, you. Yup, me, Purple Heart. Love the chat, but I've got to go to Celestia pronto. Stop fooling around and hurry on ahead. This is the gate connecting Celestia to the land. Who would have thought that the Basilicom had such a setup? We don't have much time. Now everyone, go into that device over there. It's super tight in here. Hey, look, a pair of white lumpy balls of yarn in front of my eyes. Nep, you don't move around. Please, endure a bit. IF, can you squeeze a bit more there? Like this? A little more, just one more person's worth. One more, that's a little too. Well then, I'll just hug Iffy into me. Lady Verd, your breast, my friend. No, don't be shy, it's not like a guy and girl thing here. And since it's you, a special extra hug from me to you. Happily. Can you hurry, Histoire? Can't stand the pinkish aura in here. Squishy, Neil. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, transport. Celestia, here we come. Yeah. Nothing happened. That's odd. Let me see what's going on. Thank you for waiting. So what's the verdict? Malfunction on the equipment or something? It looks like Celestia is denied access. Wait, that means we can't get to Celestia. Now that is a problem. Is there any other way to get to Celestia? Maybe a plane or a helicopter? That's not possible. Without the means to get to Celestia, we're at a dead end. Is everyone going to die? Isn't there anything we can do? It looks like we have our first victim, New. On the contrary, look at the face, so calm and full of happiness. I can't believe it, Iffy's already dead, or at least she looks like it. I noticed that you were having problems here. Yeah, our lolly-loving saviour has to cometh. You work here, right? Can you help us get to Celestia? We don't have much time. Well, if the gates can't be used, why not use what the quartet use? The Rainbow Bridge. Why, yes, how could I have forgotten? Histy, what's this about a reindeer bridge? Rainbow Bridge. It is a path to the quartet set leading Celestia. That sounds too good to be true. With the legend of the quartet as truth, this must be factual as well. The problem is whether it still can be used. Be prepared for its activation. All we need now are the keys. Keys? I'd like to give this to the no, Lady Purpleheart. Oh, you're going to give me something? Thanks. Come on, look, I got a cool looking sword. Wow, very cool looking. It looks strong. The key to activate the path of the quartet's weapons. I heard they are needed to defeat the enemy, so I had it readied for you. So this isn't a replica, it's the real Trinity Blade? Huh, it looks a lot different compared to the replica. Well, it was hundreds of years old, so it needed a revamp. Wait, you can't mean... We crafted the weapon for Lady Purpleheart. That's why it looks so different. Exactly, now that it's new, we would like our lady to rename the weapon, a name worthy of a weapon to save our world and game industry. Well, how about Master Blade Neptune? Excuse me for saying this, but I don't think that's proper. Using your name for a weapon you use? How tacky. I don't sense any inspiration at all. Using your name on a weapon? Unheard of, even in video games. Well, that's settled. Hey, have you not played Devil May Cry? Come on. The Devil Sword Dante? Come on. I know you fought hard for that name, but it isn't too... A bit betrayed by Compa? Don't fret, I'll name the weapon for you, Nep. Iffy. Let's see, Nep-like with a Planetoon theme. I got it. Instead of Trinity Blade, we'll call it the Holy Fang Blade. Well, I appreciate the thoughts, but that sounds pretty bad too. The Holy Fangs of Justice. Masticating evil. I like it. I guess it does sound a lot better than putting your name on it. I like it too, Iffy. It has a feel of the ultimate weapon. You're kidding. Compa, Master Blade Neptune sounds way cooler, right? The name Iffy came up with sounds better. No! So by unanimous decision, we'll call the weapon Holy Fang Blade. Holy Fang Blade received. This fucking game sometimes.
This here is the ruins, where the path to Celestia can be opened.
But it's a dead end. How do we get to Celestia?
There are slots on the wall, so the weapons need to be placed here?
Presumably. I believe they act as keys to opening the way to Celestia.
Wait a sec. If the weapons are the keys, then...
Yes. Now that they have all changed form, they won't fit.
Oh no. Is there another way to get there then, Misty?
Sadly, no. But the ruins can function, so we just need a way to activate it.
Easy then. We just have to force them in.
That's impossible.
How about widening the slots so that the shapes fit?
Well, if you're gonna make them bigger, leave it to me.
No, wait. You'll break the wall.
Well, I suppose we have no choice but to force them in.
We'll never know until we try, right?
I suppose. But please be careful that you don't break anything.
No problem. Isty, you worry too much.
I'm actually worried most about you, Neptune. Well then, please place the weapons as I say. First, place the spear to the east.
Oh, me!
No, I'm talking about the original form, so that would be Blanc.
My, I jumped a bit too early there.
I did it, Istuar!
I thought I heard a strange sound just now.
It's your imagination.
Why are you looking away from me? Anyway, next, to the south wall, the dual revolver.
My turn! How should I get this to fit the shape of a revolver?
Noir? As I mentioned before, please be sure not to break anything.
No problem. All I'll do is place the hilt here. See? Perfect!
Wow, that's dangerous with the blade jetting out of the wall. Fine. Next, to the west wall, the wisdom bow.
I thought as much so. See? I already have it in and it matches perfect.
What? Vert, what are you doing?
I just bent the spear so that it's in the shape of a bow. Why?
Whoa! It's like creaking? It looks like it's about to break. I'm the last one!
Neptune, please be very careful that you not break anything.
Okie dokie. I won't break the wall like Blonde or the weapon like Vert. See? I already carved the edges of the wall so the sword can fit.
Ah, the sacred walls of the ruins! Carved!
You're the worst, Nep.
I guess what's done is done. Now, let's create the path to Celestia.
Finally! I can't wait!
Ancients, open the seal of the path into Celestia.
Wow, a shooting star is shooting into the skies.
Look! There's a rainbow path after the shooting star. It's so pretty.
Sincerely like a shooting star, Bifrost.
Now the path to Celestia is open. Thank goodness.
Let's go, everyone! To save game industry! To Celestia we depart!
Right!
I think this is obvious, but you better make sure you didn't forget to finish anything before the final battle. Spoiler alert! If you get each nation's shares really high before beating the final boss, you'll get the true ending. Huh? How do I know? I'm Neptune.
Alongside the final dungeon, the Road to Celestia unlocking, the final fishing pond is also available to you now on Reverse. I won't be messing with it on video because it's the same as the others, just, you know, a bit harder with better rewards if you can keep with it. But you know how it works now. And there's also new baits available as well, such as like the precious bait. And at the bottom, there's the specific baits. Instead of having to actually fish them up and get lucky, you can now buy the specific bait, so you can get the will always fish up a previous story, will always fish up music, etc, etc. There's also the last batch of weapons that will be in the shop that you can buy, but the holy weapons you picked up are going to be better than them. But that's not to say you can't get better weapons at this point. If you mess around in the Colosseum, you can absolutely get better weapons. There's a cut there, a large one. Look at the shares. At this point, I grinded out all the shares out of others by doing the guide side quest. That is the S rank one, where you grind up the AG system from that boss in the second optional dungeon. And I did that several times to get others down to 0. And then I messed around in the Colosseum to get all the shares equal. Through that, I got a new weapon for Blanc called the Mediator, which is goddamn ridiculously strong. It like doubles her attack stat. Look at the stat difference. It's like 2,300 on attack on Blanc, while everyone else is like 1,300 sort of thing. It's insanely good, which really works out for me because to jump the gun a little bit, I am radically underleveled. Where I've had a party of 4, I've got to kind of cheese out a lot of fights in this game that you have seen under the level you should really be. You want to know how underleveled I am? Look at Nep's level, 65. Everyone else is like 60, right? My original playthrough ended with Nep at level 78 and everyone else at 75 or 6.
Nice!
That's how radically underleveled we are for Road to Celestia. And you're going to see me take it on anyway. But what you saw there is I deliberately accepted and then finished up a quest that added stuff back to other, so the others have shares in them again. I did that deliberately, but only after I saved, because I want to show off the normal ending and the normal route first. And so it's all prepped up. I essentially will just be doing this whole dungeon twice. I won't record me doing this dungeon a second time. After this video, when we cut back, it will just be me, probably a little higher level, because I want to do a bit of grinding, because there's an extra fight in the true final boss. And for how radically underleveled I am, and how much I've been getting away with anyway, I do have to draw a line eventually. And when I was doing, you're going to see when we get to it, we fight the final boss in this video. It ends up being a relatively longish fight, and not like ridiculously difficult, but it definitely has some tense moments to it, where I was so underpowered I had to make ends meet to get it to work out for me. Also, you're going to see me run straight past a lot of items here, entirely by accident. Celestia as a dungeon is a really nice aesthetic, and it's like the only time in the franchise this aesthetic is ever used, because Celestia only exists in Super Dimension, so it's never brought back beyond this. So it's literally like, this is the only time you get to see Celestia or this aesthetical design in the series, I think. But the biggest problem with it is that the skybox is too bright, so items blend in with it. So you just go past stuff and miss it all the time. They also changed the music to have, I guess, more significance for the final stretch. But during my Colosseum grind, everyone gained a new skill because they went above 61. 61 is where you gain some of the very, much more effective skills for everyone. And by the time you pass the level 60 range, you've probably unlocked every skill you're going to get for all the characters. Like I said, this isn't Net 4. This isn't Victory 2, where the characters are literally front-loaded with a shit ton of skills. There isn't that many. Every skill serves a purpose, and that's as far as they go. They don't excessively add loads and loads more. That doesn't really start happening until the 3rd game, and then really doesn't start happening until the 4th beyond that. But see what I mean? Blanc just turned level 61, so she just got Get a Ravine. I ended up cutting this fight anyway, but I was going to show Get a Ravine in that fight, but it'll be used again later on, so you'll still get to see it before this ends. You'll also notice in the minimap that because of the grinding through the Colosseum, I picked up the resources to tell me where invisible items are. So a little star will appear on the minimap where an invisible item is if we pass it. And additionally, I finally got the vision cones on enemies, so I can see where enemies are looking when I look at the map. So it's easier to do the preemptive strikes, and you can then get the confirmation for yourself of how the robots work in this series, where almost all the machines have a 360 view, so you can't sneak up on them.
It's my turn. Got you. Get out of my way.
In here as well is another optional boss, because of course there is, which I do decide to fight. But it was like maybe interesting for you guys, is that this was actually my first time fighting it. Because usually when I get to this point in the game, if I decide to make the push through Celestia, I'm just running past everything and going straight to the boss. But because this is a Let's Play and I want to show off as much as possible, I was like, oh no, I have to actually fight this thing. And then I realized I've never actually bothered fighting this thing. So this was like a new experience for me, taking on the Lost Dragon, because I genuinely didn't know what to expect.
I'll show you the power of a god.
That actually reminds me, I never went back and did that other like optional boss in one of the digital dungeons, like one of the optional dungeons we did. You know, there's that optional boss I just never came back to because it was healing too much than I could hurt it. Maybe I'll have to like squeeze that in if I remember during the extra videos, because after tomorrow's video there will be like a short break before I do the extra videos. Like, if you've been with this channel a while, what I usually do, unless there's like literally only like 1 or 2 videos left to do, which to be fair, Neptunia might be 1 or 2 videos left, so we'll see. All right, I know I'm rambling, but I'm getting to my point. But what I tend to do is, if I say I finish the Let's Play properly in the middle of the week, say on a Wednesday, it'll be the following Monday I start doing the extra video. So I just give myself a couple days to just do what I want, and then say, oh yeah, right, I need to get on with the extra stuff. And in some games, like bigger games that have a bigger post game, it gives me time to do research as well to make sure I'm not missing anything. Final Fantasy 15 was the biggest example of that. When the main story of that finished, there was still like another like 12 or 13 more videos to go. Like that Let's Play went on until like part 60, I think, and like the actual like final part of the story was like 46 or 45. Like, it was. That's something to think of. Final Fantasy 15 was so long ago, that Let's Play. Like, I remember it so vividly in a lot of ways, because Final Fantasy 15 in a lot of ways kind of felt like the establishing Let's Play in the style I wanted to make moving forward. And so I have a lot of memories of it. Even though it's not my favourite Let's Play I've ever done, I have a lot of memories of it and a lot of fun doing it. And I always remember it very fondly from that Let's Play, because that was the game that really much set in stone of, no, I want to do bigger games, I want to do bigger projects. I don't want to just do stuff that's done in a couple weeks all the time. I love JRPGs, I live for them. I want to be able to cover more JRPGs. And assuming there's no blocked scenes in Tales of Arise, I can almost guarantee you Tales of Arise will come at some point in the future, because I'm really coming around to that game a lot more. When I was criticising it the other day, I tried to stress at the time, but I feel like I always need to reiterate when I talk about it. The more I enjoy a game, the more I criticise it. And Tales of Arise is an extremely enjoyable game, and I'm having a blast with it. It's just not Berseria in my eyes. And that's genuinely the only way to put it. But that doesn't change the fact that it's a really phenomenal game, and I am having a really good time with it. And I can't wait to share that with you, assuming nothing gets blocked scenes later on. So I don't want to jump on it and say, yeah, we'll definitely do a Let's Play until I've seen that. But if it isn't blocked scene, and then I can record the whole game, and they've learnt from Tales of Berseria, then I will absolutely do that game at some point. Probably not straight away, because if it's anything like Berseria, it's a very fucking long game, and I'm already getting that kind of sense. I'm like 25 hours in, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this game's probably got a lot left. A lot more than it lets you think. In the same way Berseria sets up your initial objective, and then as you go through it, it unravels and there's a lot more to it than what first thought. I'm getting that impression with Tales of Arise, without spoiling anything, where it feels like the initial objective isn't going to be the final objective. It's going to go a lot more than that. But I'm showing this off. This EXE used to be a level 4. I'm sure it used to be a level 4. Either that or it became a level 4 in later games. But it does insane damage, especially if you have any kind of limit breaker on. And you're going to see, through the accessories we got from the boss fights we did at the end of the last video, that both of those accessories have built-in limit breakers. So there's one on Nep and there's one on Vert. So Noir and Blanc don't do limit break damage. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, limit break damage in Neptunia is basically being able to do more than 9,999 damage in a single hit. So like, because I got limit breaker on both Nep and Vert, both of their attacks can do the actual damage they're doing and not be hard capped at 9,999. The couple cuts you're going to see here is just me showing off the extra paths I missed because I don't remember this dungeon layout. So I just took the first teleporters and ended up missing this little path here, which has an item that's very hidden. 2 items, so I can't fucking miss it. That kind of proves my point of what I mean when they blend in. I didn't spot that, I thought there was only 1 here then. And like the only other path we're missing as well. But you get a really cool weapon for mages. If you're using the human characters to an extent as well, you're gonna be in for a treat with some of the post-game stuff you can get as well. If you start grinding out the dungeons and doing the DLCs, yada yada. And you see, this is me just kind of final checking things. Like making sure my second team is ready, because I know that final boss fight's coming up. Even if it isn't the final boss, because I said there's more to it on the true ending. It's just because this is the normal route that this is how it's going to go.
Lucky.
There's 2 more items here. Oh, a weapon for Iffy as well. You know, just in case you're for some reason going to use her at this stage in the game, which I cannot stress enough. Don't. Like I said, Compa and Iffy really run out of their worth later in the game, and it's a shame really that could persist throughout the series, but it is what it is. But when you get to this point and you've saved, double check everything you've got. I can't stress enough, because it is the final boss of the game that you're approaching. But even if you're on the normal route, so there's less of a fight, there's still a fight. And if you saw in the corner there, it said my session play time cut down to like 10 minutes, when earlier it was on like an hour or 2, or however it was. Yeah, I came away, played more Tales of Arise, then came back and was like, oh no, I need to actually record the final boss. I keep on juggling, like recording this and playing Tales of Arise. I can't help it. It's why I haven't like done ridiculous. So I've done like 25 hours, which I know might sound like a lot, but if it's a JRPG and I'm into it, that's rookie numbers. I could have doubled that easily at this point. But anyway, I'm amazed that you got here. Praises to you all. If you're praising us, stop with the nonsense of making the lands collide. Like I would listen to the likes of you. Good to hear. Now I can repay you for all you've done without worry. Ha! Like you could do anything. You couldn't even face Avenir alone. What? Is that supposed to make me angry? I know I can be tactless and clumsy sometimes, but I'll still do my best for Last Station now and forever. I am the console Patreon unit of Last Station. Ha! It's like you've learned to use those lips of yours. Now, may I give my thanks? So it's the coward who went into hiding after losing her power. Yes, I may have been a coward then, but I met Iffy and Lannan because of it. Lady Vert. They approached me not as Greenheart, but rather as Vert, a person. They're the ones who gave me the confidence to step out from hiding. I thank you for my fate, and now I shall repay you with your defeat. Is that why you raise arms against me? How pathetic. I suppose a loner like you just can't understand the value of friends. Me, a loner? Look who's talking. You were ousted and scorned by Louis. True, that fact can't be changed, but Financier kept faith in me the entire time. Even if she's the only one, that's enough reason for me to fight. Incomprehensible. Well, the true loner wouldn't understand, obviously. Who are you calling the true loner? Stop with the proper noun use. But it's true, right? Not sure how I was before, but now I've got Compa, Iffy, Noir, Vert, Blanc, Magus, Marvy, Tekken, CC2, Falcon, Pachiko. Like I keep saying, that's Broccoli, not Pachiko new. And Histy too. I'm here because I want to be with them. I wouldn't try my best if it wasn't for them, you know? Such lack of reason, the quartet would be disgusted to hear what you said. You think so? I kind of think so too. But I don't care. I think it's important to believe in yourself. That's why I'm going to beat you with everyone. And we'll bring a happy ending to game industry. I thought this was going to be serious, but Nep is always Nep, I guess. That's the most serious thing she's ever said. The fuck are you on about? What? It's getting irritating here of you yapping the same tune. Doesn't matter what you do, game industry will be destroyed. Arfoire, seems words will not reach you anymore. Then we'll force Arfoire to stop. We won't let game industry be destroyed. And thus begins the first phase of the final fight. On the normal route, this is 2 fights. The second fight being the main event, it's just being the warm-up.
I'm getting serious.
But yeah, I don't get that line. I kind of feel like there's a translation error in there somewhere. When like Iffy goes, "Oh, this wouldn't be a fight without Nep being not serious," and it's like that's the most down to earth and serious thing she said. That she's admitting that she's doing this for selfish reasons, but she doesn't care if she gets judged for it. She's doing what she believes. That's the most down to earth and like honest thing she's ever said.
This is a bit much.
And then Iffy's just like, "Haha, crazy Nep." Like, no, Iffy, that's not what it is.
It's my turn.
Because that's the thing with, like, despite like the extremely goofy demeanor, like Nep's heart belongs to the people through and through. And it's something that I complimented a lot when we went through V2R, when we went into like the dreams of everyone, that we learned that like Nep's ultimate dream, like her perfect world, is just a world where she gets to help everyone.
Better use this just in case.
That's it. Like she's actually like her feelings and what she wants to do is actually extremely humble, down to earth, and really sweet. Yes, it's naive, but it's really sweet. She's not just this goofy maniac that takes the piss all the time. And that scene there felt like an admission of that. Even though it's a different Nep, because, you know, Hyperdimension Nep, this is Super Dimensions Nep, the same rule applies. But anyway, the best friend with you at this fight is try not to have everyone, and it's good warm up I suppose for the real fight later. Although you need to kind of circle R4 to keep her grounded and keep her focused and, you know, not having anyone too close, don't have anyone like rubbing up to her close. Because otherwise you'll be too close and her group-wide attacks will hit several people, and as you just saw there, even her basic attacks can hurt.
I'm getting serious.
And this doubly applies for the next phase after this, where the actual final fight of this game
How's this? Are you
has
ready?
an attack that, if everyone's too close and it hits everyone, can actually end the fight in one turn. And that happened to me recording this, where everyone is so underleveled. This is my second attempt doing the final boss swing. This fight's fine. The next fight, I got unlucky near the end of the fight. It did its ultimate and it caught all 4 members, critted all 4 of them, and ended the fight in a single turn. Because they were all at full health, but the crit just wiped them. And because I was underleveled, because I am underleveled for this, that it got away with the crit instant killing. If you come in on like a whole 10 levels higher than we are, you know, around the level you probably should be, that won't be the case. Even if it crits and hits everyone, you'll be in a recoverable state. But because everyone is so much weaker right now, that's not what happened.
Let's finish this.
For the true final boss, I do want to grind up a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, because I was like, as I mentioned earlier, if I had that kind of misfortune with the second phase, the true ending's harder version of the fights are gonna be a nightmare on my current level. And so, as much as I like to keep it fair, which I will, I do want to be a little bit more equal with the fight. Now, unfortunately, this attack, I was hoping all of it would do more than 9999, but it's only the last hit that does enough damage to show the limit break damage of how good it can really be in the right hands. Because that does 10,000. That, I think, did 10,000, but it went off screen too quickly. But there's another as well. No, she's dead. So, but that's just phase 1. That's the easy part of the fight. But everyone does get 95k experience, so a free level up pretty much makes it so you go into the next phase with a free heal, since level ups always heal you.
I am a god. Game industry is my dominion. Why did I lose? Why to these goddesses, humans?
Arfoire, our fate ends here.
I beg to differ.
What? She recovered? What's going on here?
I don't know, but I do know the source of the power. The shares.
Shares? Who in this world is putting faith in this idiot?
Right! Who would be worshipping Arfoire?
Many humans do, though it is different than the ones you know.
What do you mean?
Have you forgotten of Overlord Momus? Why do you think I preached it?
What the
heck does that have to do with what's going on?
As how you gain power from shares, I too gain power. From awe and fear, the world's end. Total dominion. Fear acts as faith to become my power. That's just ridiculous.
Yet, the truth is in front of us. We must accept that as fact.
Nep, what are we gonna do?
Easy. We'll just keep winning. We're still stronger than Arfoire.
Is that so? Then how is this? Fear! Come to me! Such beauty! Such power! Fear me!
What is that form?
What kind of sad joke is this?
It's a nightmare.
I feel anew! Watch as I show you powers beyond a god!
Arfoire, you rid your human form just for power?
You don't have to understand. Just know that this is my true power!
This is just absurd.
That's just how strong the fear is, eating away at her soul.
How sad. What use is it if you're being controlled by your own power?
Hey, stop the talking. Isn't her power getting stronger?
That has got to be bad. It looks like she's lost all control.
Nep.
Don't worry. Like Isti said, shares are people's prayers and faith. It's only natural for people to sense fear over what's going on. But the stronger the fear, the stronger the prayer and faith to us grows.
What? Whoa, you gotta be kidding. I haven't felt this many shares before.
That's not all. The power of the prayers and faith are stronger than ever.
And it feels so warm.
I can feel the power surging in me.
As long as people pray and put faith in us, we will never lose. Arfoire, everything ends now.
Time for the normal ending route's true final boss. Whatever the hell Arfoire has become, their true form, this dragon being. Which is interesting because in future games, because it's a kind of a running joke after this game that Arfoire always finds a way to come back, right? In Hyperdimension, every game it comes off, her true form isn't this dragon. It's completely different. And it's more closer to what Momus looked like. It's not identical, but it's a lot closer to what Momus looked like in this game when we fought Overlord Momus before, in terms of what her final design becomes. Her true final power design is actually pretty fucking cool. Like, hopefully, like, if they do a reverse 2 and 3, you'll get to see it, because you get to see the Deity of Sin design in the second one, because that's her alternate forms look. Like, when she becomes a monstrous being, I mean, she's called the Deity of Sin, which I know is kind of like a dramatic and like foreboding name, but it's just what she's called. But her true power Deity of Sin form is actually really cool. As much as I like talk shit about the character, because I think Arfoire genuinely is one of the weakest villains in the series. She's just not interesting. She's just evil for the sake of being evil and wants to destroy the world because she says so. This is the only game that makes any kind of effort to establish what Arfoire's about. Because going into the second game onwards, she's the joke villain and that's it. She's the Team Rocket. She always shows up, she always causes a fuss, and then that's the end. It's why I gave her the fucking Skeletor voice when we did V2R. Because it's like, that's the joke. She is just a villain that keeps on showing up, but isn't a threat anymore. She's just, oh, it's her again. And I get it, and like the joke was humorous for a while, but it burnt out. Like, if the fifth game comes around and you know, it just straight up doesn't have Arfoire, I genuinely wouldn't be fussed. I know some people would be like, oh, you gotta keep up the joke though, but you gotta know when to let a joke go. And Arfoire just hasn't, the whole Arfoire keeps on coming back just hasn't really been funny to me for a while now. The only game I think did it right was the third game. Because they leaned into the fact that she was a joke villain and really went wild with it. Like, in the third game, Arfoire grows an eggplant farm to get at Nep. And then, like, kidnaps, I think it's kidnaps Iffy to lure Neptune there to just because then she'd be surrounded by eggplants, you know, the one thing she hates. Like, they lean into the ridiculousness and the fun of it a lot in the third game. But then in V2, they try and make her somewhat serious again, and it's like, no, you can't go from... I know it's a different dimensions version of R4, because that's how she keeps coming back. Every single time she comes back, it's a different dimension version. Like, this is Super Dimensions R4. In the second game, it's Hyper Dimension, you know, the actual main R4, so to speak. In the third game, it's Ultra Dimension. In the fourth game, it's Heart Dimensions. / Zero Dimensions / clones. But, you know, whatever. But she keeps on coming back. She's like Ridley, but it's just a different version of her every time. But after experiencing Ultra Dimensions R4, it's impossible to take her seriously, even remotely, in the fourth game, no matter what she does. Because it's just like, well, you've just gone from her making an eggplant farm. She even, like, uses a magic spell to make herself look like an eggplant to try and gross out Neptune enough that she can win a fight against her. But then because it becomes so ridiculous, Neptune stops seeing it as gross and starts seeing it as funny. And so it fails to work anyway. And it's just like, this fucking game. Genuinely, I kind of hope Reverse 2 and 3 happen, just so I can show you how kind of, like... Because, like, the games are funny. You've heard me laugh a couple times. I at least find the games funny. But the third and fourth game are in a league of their own compared to the first two. The third game is genuinely hilarious at points. Even if I don't like how they rewrote Nep's character and don't like how they butchered Nepgear, the game's funny as fuck. In the fourth game, it corrected some of the mistakes of Nep's character and gave Nepgear a lot more relevance again. And it made her a great character too. Well, a great character again, because as I've said before, I like her in Nep 2. I like her a lot in Nep 2. I understand the complaints that people had that she wasn't Neptune, and so like a lot of like this comedy spirited character was replaced with a more serious and grounded character. But as I've said before, Nepgear I felt was necessary because the second game is darker. And so having a more grounded protagonist made sense. She's still goofy in places, you see that a lot, but it's a lot more controlled than the absolute randomness that is Neptune. Having Neptune be the main, or a character like her be the main for the second game story, would have made the first half of it not really work. And the reason why I say first half is because when Nep joins the party in the second half, my point kind of feels validated, because the story becomes a lot less interesting. In my original review, I said the biggest thing that hurts the game is Chapter 5 onwards. The moment you get Neptune and the crew back, it turns into Nep 1 again. Which is a shame because the game was setting up a lot more than that. And then it feels like it just got cold feet at the last second and just let the kooky randomness of the first game step into it again. And it's like, well... But I know it was still trying to find their footing, because this game's all comedy with no real seriousness, and the second game's extremely serious with very little comedy. And the third game was their first real effort to try and find a better balance, so it's a bit more serious, but at the same time there's a lot more comedy. It's just they didn't get the character writing down, whilst the fourth game was the one that finally kind of hit the nail on the head and got it down to an art. This is the attack, by the way, Dragon Raid. It hits everyone, unfortunately, even though I got everyone spaced out because I guess they were just too close. And it wipes the floor with Noir. If you've got someone in your party who isn't in their goddess form, they will probably die even at full health by the next attack from this thing, especially if you're at the level I'm at. Which is why I actually use Hard Break here, because it pushes back turns. EXEs, as you've seen many times through this, push back enemy turns, so I can use this to buy more time to get Noir's new turn in to have her HDD again to hopefully have her survive. So yeah, there's other reasons to use EXEs other than just damage dealing. Being able to push back enemy turns sometimes, not always, but sometimes. You see there, it was originally after Blanc going to be just Nep and then the boss, but now everyone else gets to go before the boss goes again. So I can use that to my advantage, which is what I do. I use it to buff Vert so then her next attacks can be a bit stronger. Even though it doesn't count because I boost physical attack there and this counts as magic, but oh well. It's still going to do really good damage. And I think just barely push the boss over the edge to kill, if not get her super close. But then when this boss fight ends, it's going to be nothing but cutscenes till the credits roll. But I'm not going to show the credits because this isn't the true ending. So it's going to be cutscenes so you see what the normal ending is, and then I'll talk a little bit at the very end, and then we'll wrap it up for the next video. Yeah, that was enough to kill it. And you get a shit ton of experience for this as well, because they expect you to go on to New Game Plus after this, which I won't be off this save anyway.
Arfoire, this is
Is it over?
Yes, that was the last blow.
Look, Arfoire is disappearing.
So, game industry was saved? Yes, game industry is saved. The goddesses have won.
You did it! Nep won!
Phew! I'm beat. Yep, this form is a lot easier to be in.
That was awesome, Nep!
When she went dragon form, I thought she was gonna offer me half the world.
I don't think there would have been a world left if Arfoire won.
But Nep, if she did offer you half the world, what would you have done?
I would shove it back at her. I mean, I'm scared of you more than Arfoire.
Oh, really? Do you seriously mean that?
Oh, wait. Time out. Can I take that back?
Nep!
I'm sorry, Iffy.
I can't believe how she can go from serious to lax in a second.
I must say, though, that Neptune is quite interesting. Well, she is the one who brought us all together.
I know. It's just surreal. Maybe it was a miracle.
Miracle? In Neptune's case, random is a more appropriate term.
That does sound more in line with Neptune's characteristics.
Goddess of Random Neptune. That may quite be the proper description.
Yes. I wonder why it sounds so natural on Neptune.
Well, it is very Neppy-like, so all is good, right?
Yeah, without the random, we wouldn't all be here together, huh?
Super random, you.
Oh, what? What you all talking about?
Nothing.
What? Now I'm out of the pack? No wonder you're a loner, Noir.
Wait! What I said has nothing to do with being a loner.
I know, but you already got loner written all over you anyway.
That's all your fault.
Sorry.
That growling sound.
Oh, that's me. I'm all tired and starving, so, it just went off.
Okay, I'll make a feast tonight then. Is there something you want to eat?
Ooh, I want pudding! Kampa's homemade pudding is the bomb.
Okay, I'll make a super duper tasty pudding just for you, Nep.
Yay! Yahoo!
Just like a small kid.
I don't care. Kampa's pudding trumps anything and everything. Let's get going, everyone. Let's go back to game industry. It's been a while since the battle against Arfoire. After the feast at Kampa's room, everyone returned back to their lands. Let's take a look at how everyone is doing.
Lady Noir, this is the report on the contamination.
Thank you. Let's see. It looks like the results are faring well.
Yes, as the graph shows, the emissions have gone down quite a bit.
Very good. Now that's my last station.
Noir, nice to see you again.
Histoire? Nice to see you too. Are you here alone?
Yes, I came to see how you were doing. But first, wasn't that Ganache? Why is he in the Basilicom?
Oh, him? After his image of Blonde was obliterated, he came here.
I have no reason to follow Lady Blonde anymore. Now I serve Lady Noir.
But, Noir? Are you sure that's fine? He did cause trouble to last station.
I know. Not to be like Blonde, but I wanted to beat him senseless. But he showed earnest repentance from his heart. How can I not forgive him? Truth be told, since his arrival, things have gotten better here too.
I am grateful for your words, my lady.
So in short, you're soft as butter too.
Do you think so?
I'm the all-seeing tome. Trust me. You're a kind goddess. It looks like I need to get going now.
Already? Be careful then. You're pretty small, you know.
Lady Vert, come out of there. How many days have you been in there?
I'm still tired from the battle. I need another day of rest.
You said that yesterday, too.
Vert? Maybe you should come out and work.
Ivoire is more than sufficient to handle the work.
Well, that's not really the point.
Emergency! Emergency! Enemies approaching lean box.
An emergency quest?
Lon Lon, get ready.
Lon wants to go to sleep.
It's only been 3 days without sleep. A true gamer can last a week.
Someone really has to help Vert out.
Lady Blanc, let's have a snowball fight.
No! Lady Blonde is going to make a snowman with me! Don't fight now. I'll play with everyone. So take turns, okay?
Blonde, it's been a while. But what are you doing out here?
I'm playing with the kids.
How unusual. I was expecting you to be reading or writing a book.
I was, for 5 days straight. Then Financier cut the power to my room.
Ah, I see. So, where is Financier now?
She should be back soon.
Lady Blonde, I brought us tea and sweets. Oh, Miss Histoire, you're here. Yes, I just came by to see everyone. Oh, may I serve you a cup of tea then? It will warm you up. I'd love to, but I do need to go elsewhere shortly, so I'm fine. I'm back in Planetoon, but I wonder where Neptune is.
Oh, it's Isty. What are you doing here?
I wanted to make sure Neptune was in check. Did you finish school?
Yesy! With all the catch-up I had to do, I'm really tired.
That sounds strenuous. And how goes Neptune? Is she working?
She sneaks out of the Basilicum a lot and comes to my room to play.
I guess that is very indicative of Neptune.
Isty, I'm making dinner. Can you come? We're having a party tonight.
Really? Well, I'd be happy to be there then.
Miss Compa!
It's the person from the Basilicom. What's the matter?
Lady Neptune disappeared from the Basilicom. I wanted to check to see if she may be here with you.
Nep sneaked out again? I just came out of school, so Nep's not with me.
I see. Well, it is rather late. Please be careful on your way home.
Thank you very much.
When will Neptune learn her stance as a CPU?
Let's go home and take a rest. Oh, welcome back, Compa. I just welcomed myself in. Hey, it's Isty! How did you get in, Nep? Well, I wanted to hide here, and when I got here, the door was open. I can't leave the place open, so I stayed. You should be really careful. Yes, I'll be careful next time.
That aside, Neptune, what about the work at the Basilicom?
I'm doing my work. Work in the name of protecting Compa's room.
That's just your excuse to goof off, Nep.
Yikes! Iffy?
Thanks for the welcome, Nep. Don't worry, I'm not here to pull you back.
Phew! What a relief. Iffy, don't scare me like that.
Why should you be scared? Just stay diligent and work. You'll be fine. Here you go, Compa. I figured Nep would be here, so I bought more food.
Is today a special day or something? I promised to have a party with Iffy today. A party? Nice! I'm good at serving food, so that makes me the CPU of food.
I don't think we need a CPU for food.
Let's have a tea break first. I want to lift my legs for a moment.
Okay. Compa, why don't you rest now? I'll get dinner prepared.
Iffy, there's 4 puddings in the fridge. Can you bring them to me?
You get it yourself.
Aww.
So there you have it. Everything is as usual here, and I'm sure that, with the goddesses, peace will continue on Game Industry. I am the Tome Histoire. As one who sees all, I pray for eternal peace. May my prayers become shares for the goddesses as well.
Here's the puddings. All right, everyone, dig in. Here's to our get-together and to the future of Game Industry. Cheers!
And that's it for the normal ending, but there's still more to see here and more to unravel. So next time on Neptunia Reverse, we'll see the true path and learn the last mysteries. Till then, take care.